Our selection today is Come Out the Wilderness. Tell me, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness? How did you feel when you come out the wilderness? Oh, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness? Oh, I'm leaning on Yah. Tell me, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness? Oh, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness? Oh, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness? Oh, I'm leaning on Yah. Well, I looked at my hands and my looked at my feet and well, I started to walk. I had a brand new walk. Then I started to talk and I had a brand new talk. Well, I started to sing. I had a brand new and everybody wondered just what was wrong, 'cause my soul was new when oh, my heart was new when oh yes, I loved everybody when oh, a leaning on Yah. Well, I looked at my hands and my said I looked at my feet and well, I started to walk. I had a brand new walk. Then I started to talk and I had a brand new talk. Well, I started to sing, yeah, and everybody wondered just what was wrong, 'cause my soul was new when oh, my heart was new when oh yes, I loved everybody when oh, I'm leaning on Yah. Oh, I'm leaning on Yah. Oh, I'm leaning on Yah.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches of Elohim. Everyone that has ears to hear physically does not have ears to hear spiritually. When we deal with the opening song about coming out of the wilderness, you have to consider just how many different contexts that can be looked at. Part of the song said, I loved everybody when I came out of the wilderness. One of those things where there's still, hatred and variance, emulation, and strife that's still in somebody's hearts because they ain't been in the wilderness long enough. See, when you go into that wilderness, it talks about when they got ready to come up out of there, that was a different situation. See, it going through some things leads you to repentance. And because we will not go through the repetitive actions that we're supposed to go through, it then extends all of the troubles that we end up encountering. So if there's not a change in thought process, it's because we have not been in the wilderness long enough. You have to ask yourself, why Yahweh would keep the children of Israel there so long in a short journey. They're just walking around in circles, going past other places because their heart wasn't right. So they just kept going by and going through some of the same things. And those are the same things that we encounter. We go through the same things over and over. Why? Because there's certain things that we just will not get. You know, you can't just go to school and get a certificate of attendance. You know, they pass those out to people, you know, that they like, you know, maybe like once or twice. But bottom line is, if you don't pass the test, you got to keep going through that grade. You can't just say, I went to the 8th grade, but then you don't pass none of the classes. Guess what? You're going to be in 8th grade again. And then you just show up and then you're going to be in 8th grade again and again. You can't just keep saying, well, I showed up. I went through that. But obviously, you're not getting the stuff that was disseminated. So then you're going to have to do that again. Same thing with these things concerning righteousness. Sometimes we're sick and tired of going through the same thing. We'll do something about it. And we think by floating off to other situations that it's going to cure that. Now you're going to take that same mindset and the next place where you go. And the same thing going to happen there, just in a different form. Let's begin today's sermon in Leviticus chapter 23. The title of today's sermon is Reaping of the Spirit. Now, if we're going to reap of the Spirit, the Bible tells us that whatever we sow, that is what we shall reap. So in other words, in layman's terms, whatever you plant, that's what's going to grow. That's natural. You know, if you planted watermelon, don't go around there expecting pineapples. That's not what you planted. So why are you expecting something different? When we deal with the things concerning righteousness, when we deal with the things concerning our spiritual deeds, we plant certain things in the earth by our own doings. Yet we stand bold-faced requiring something else. But that ain't what you planted. So if that's not what you planted, why do you believe that you should reap all of these wonderful things, but you didn't plant these wonderful things? Why do we believe that we can plant greens and get plums? There's something wrong with that farmer, man. There's something wrong with somebody who automatically sets up sale saying, hey, come here on the 15th, we're going to have plums on sale. Got a farmer next door looking and he's trying to figure out, so where the hell is his plum trees? Because I'm trying to figure out, where is he going to have this wholesale of plums? Because I see peach trees. And then here come the day of the sale and he's disappointed. What the hell are you disappointed for? Why did you advertise a sale for something that you did not plant? There was no opportunity to produce plums because that is not what you planted. Leviticus chapter 23, and let's start that at verse 15.
And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
And all Yahweh's holy days are based off of our planting season, our reaping and sowing. So when Yahweh is dealing with reaping and sowing, he's dealing with those things in a natural connotation and a spiritual connotation. He's dealing with both of these things. By the way, we are having Bible trivia. And if you guys did not receive an email with the questions, send an email to theuci.org@gmail.com and you can get a copy of those questions, and we will go over those. I want to say normally maybe about 5 o'clock, and that's normally what our time is. So that will be available on the call line, and you can get that number off of our website. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall you number 50 days.
Right. So, we have to look here because, we read out of a study Bible, the heading right there. You have to learn how to take the good along with the bad. Of course, my book said the Feast of Jehovah. We don't know who the hell that is. All right. So we understand what that is. Then it says the wave loaves, the church at Pentecost. Now, this is the Old Testament. We are reading about the Feast of Weeks, and it automatically says Pentecost 50 days after the resurrection of the Mashiach. This is the heading that's in the study Bible. This is why I tell people, rather than get all of the things that have all of the Hebrew words, I'd rather have the study Bible that explains some other things. Because I can get past the names. That don't bother me. It said Feast of Jehovah. I just look right past that. I'd rather have the information that's after that. You know, a lot of times we end up going off on a tangent about the wrong things. We know that there are things that you're going to encounter in college or after school, but that don't stop us from going to get what we need to get whatever job we're trying to get. But yet when it comes down to something of salvation, somebody will say, well, it's some words in there I don't like. And I'm going to go right past them words and get what I need to get. So we know here that there's no difference between Feast of Weeks and Pentecost. But the New Testament term that they're going to use is Pentecost. But had they read this, they would understand that this Pentecost that a lot of Christian churches keep is also in the Old Testament. But they can't let them know that because they're all the while condemning the Old Testament. Go ahead.
And you shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh. Verse 17. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour.
Right. These are the things that you have planted. These are the things that you have produced. You reaped these things. After dealing with the things of Yahweh, you shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. The really important part is the next line. Go ahead.
They shall be baking with leaven.
This represents the 2 houses of Israel. And they are baking with leaven. Leaven is a representation of sin. Yahweh accepted you even in your sin. Go ahead.
They are the first fruits unto Yah.
Right. How are we not the first fruits of Yahweh? There ain't no other nations. There is no other salvation if Israel not saved. How are you not the first fruit? Go ahead.
And you shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto Yahweh, with their meat offering and with their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto Yah. Then you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before Yahweh. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to Yahweh for the priest. And you shall proclaim on the selfsame day, that it may be an holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not make clean riddance of the corners of your field when you reap it.
Right. And when you reap the harvest of your land, it's your land. All right? You go out your back door, that's your land. You got things planted there. You shall not make a clean riddance of the corners of your field when you reap. All of your land is not for you. That's hard to tell the selfish people. That's hard to tell the selfish people because we done already counted that stuff. All the stuff in your land is not for you. Go ahead.
Neither shall you gather any gleaning of your harvest. You shall leave them unto the poor.
Neither shall you gather the gleaning. See, when you go through that first time, there's certain things. There's that time when the most of the stuff is ripe. Okay? But then there's other things that's not ripe yet. But this is the time to reap. Okay? So you go through and you get the best part of that.
But then there's these slow growers, right? That's that stuff that Yahweh leaving for the poor. That's why he didn't make it grow with the rest of your stuff. He gave you a way to separate it. Go ahead.
You know, I never thought about it before, but I guess the whole thing of having a fence around your yard or a fence around your house wasn't really going on back then.
It's not that whole thing of having a fence is not exactly a righteous situation unless you're trying to keep an animal in.
Yeah.
See, that's what you needed a fence for, not to keep away from your field or your fruit trees. That was to keep the animal, because it says if you had an animal and it was known to gore a man and you have not kept him in, you're going to have to deal with that. See, that's about the animal. See, so that's a pen. But it's amazing. We not only fence around our houses, we put trees and line them all the way up, so can't nobody even see us when we go into the house.
Hmm.
So we want to go into the house and be in our own world. I know it because I was planning on doing it myself. Go ahead, bro.
You shall leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying...
As far as I want to go there, let's Deuteronomy chapter 16.
Deuteronomy 16.
So you have to look at the things that he said. It says, you shall not go to the corners of your field. You have to consider what he said about the beard. He said, you shall not mar the corners of your beard. Then he says, you shall not mar the corners of your field. You can't go pick from that. That stuff ain't for you. The beard was such a serious thing when they caught those brothers during Daweed's time and shaved off half of their beards. They were so ashamed. Yeah, Daweed didn't even let them, they ain't have to go home. They tell them, man, just stay in that little town until your beard grow. Because there's something wrong with a grown man that ain't got no hair on his face. But turn on the TV, that's all they show us. Grown men without one stitch of hair on their body. They didn't just shave their hair on their face. They shaved their hair everywhere. They just as smooth. You drop a nickel, it just roll all the way down to the foot. And you got to train your face to get shaved like that every day. So your body automatically revolt against you. Everybody on the earth can shave and nothing happens. Children of Israel shave and we start getting them hair bumps and start itching. Your whole face turn red. And when you seen a black dude turn red, it's amazing because you're like, I thought you were too black to get red. Right? His body is testifying against him. What are you doing, man? Yahweh, your Elohim told you to grow that. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 5. You may not sacrifice the Passover within any of your gates, which Yahweh your Elohim gives you.
Yahweh is ordering things to be done a certain way. Because you have those that say, I can deal with the word, but I don't have to deal with a congregation. I don't have to deal with dealing with any holy convocation. I can keep those things, at my own house anytime I want to, any way I want to. But when we get ready to go and do all of these things for Yahweh, when it comes down to taking over the things that we're supposed to take over, I want to see them single people go do it. Let me see you go war against them heathen by yourself. No. You can't come with us. Because you remember you was by yourself. Now go up there. Let's see you and your woman go take that city. We're gonna sit right here and watch. Go ahead. No, your woman get the left side, you get the right. Let's see how this work out. Go and take the city now. Because see, Yahweh don't deal with things individually like that. His spirit is going to cover the children of Israel after they put themselves in a place. Then he's going to go deal with that business. But not just between some dude. Because ain't no one of us going to go take no city. It says the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. We ain't going to sing the kingdom. We're not going to go in there and just sing the kingdom to death. Saints of the Most High got to take it. Yahweh said, I brought out your armies. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. But at the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to place his name in.
Right. And in doing that, then you reverence Yahweh by dealing with the things in the place that he has set his name in. Go ahead.
There you shall sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun.
At the going down of the sun, at even. This is the beginning of the day at the going down of the sun. Go ahead.
At the season that you came forth out of Egypt.
Now, people want to say that they don't get that correlation. At the going down of the sun, it is beginning to be dark. It is now dark. It is now the new day. Yet you got all these newfound Hebrews that say the full moon is the new moon. That goes completely against everything that's being said right here. That the day begins in darkness and so does the month. When Yahweh said, let there be light, there wasn't already light. So if he said, let there be light, it began in darkness. But you can't tell that to none of them purple people, man. They too busy worshiping, you know what I'm saying, they God, king, and low priest. Read, man.
Verse 7. And you shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose, and you shall turn in the morning and go on to your tents. 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall do no work therein. 7 weeks shall you number unto you. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as you beginneth to put the sickle to the corn.
Right. So then we have this thing where you have Feast of Unleavened Bread. Within the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we have the Feast of First Fruit. Then that following Sabbath, we then count 7 Sabbaths, and it gives us our 49 days. The next day will be the 50th day. That is the day we celebrate our Feast of Weeks, or as they call it, Pentecost. So then this also deals with some other things. This is why, whenever somebody's trying to explain their little false doctrine, they all off in Psalms and Proverbs, they want to base the doctrine of Yahweh off. Psalms and Proverbs are songs and poems. That's like you deciding that you're going to base your life on a Tupac song. Only God can judge me. Are you serious right now? You trying to base your life on a song? Law of Moshe. 7 weeks shall you number unto you. Begin to number the seven weeks from the time, from such time as you put your sickle to the corn. As you get into this, all these people with the so-called moving Sabbath, the so-called Enochians, the Book of Enoch people, 7 Sabbaths to them was always 49 days. So where do these moving Sabbath people get their doctrine from? Where do they keep their Pentecost? And when it gets to Sabbath of years in the Jubilee, how do they keep the Jubilee? If you stay in the law of Yahweh, it's going to take care of that business. But if you let people drive you all over the book, we're going to go to Psalms here. We're going to read Proverbs. We're going to read Ecclesiasticus. We're going to go over here. We're going to read something out of Jubilees. Brother, are we going to show you that? Right. You're going to be right out there hollering at the moon with them. But if you stay in this word, all you're going to have to do when they get to reading is ask them a question. So show me how on the moving Sabbath, 7 Sabbaths equal 49 days. You about to hear some stuttering you ain't never heard before in your life. But see, this is how you let people and their false sense of security drive you, because they sound like they really sure of themselves. They sound real confident. Ask that one question and watch the low self-esteem creep in. What you doing? You was real confident just a minute ago. I mean, you was beating on your chest. Say it with your chest now. Keep saying it with your chest. See? Make sure you put that bass back in your voice when you say it. Go ahead, let me see you count these 7 Sabbaths and equal 49 days. And the next day is going to be the 50th. That's what Penta means. It's a Greek term, which means 50. And you mean to tell me the Gentiles who don't deal with nothing can understand that, but so-called Hebrew scholars don't understand? Right. Go ahead, brother.
You know, last night I said, you know, we have no place to go. We can do this all night. If you look at this, it says you start at the going down of the sun. When did he say turn into your tents? In the morning.
Well, you know what, brother? I don't know what the hell you said last night, because apparently. Hey, hold on, there's too much damn laughing going on in there. Okay. A brother fell asleep last night. Hey, look, I ain't Creflo Dollar. I work every day. So, hey, you know what I'm talking about? And you know, it's a damn shame that they don't work all week and still come up with that watered down class at the end of the week. And you ain't been doing nothing all week. Hey, I've been working. What did it say? Saul, it said, he was a tent maker by trade. Hell, he worked. So, hey, I was beat yesterday. I heard there was a brother behind me just looking like he was going to catch me. Said, apparently, I was just bobbing and weaving all over the place. Hey, man, I apologized to them before the class started. I told all the brothers, I said, look here, don't look good. Kids tell my man, you got to watch these incense. I said, them incense better keep burning. Sooner or later, I ain't saying, somebody said I woke myself up snoring. I'm just saying. Brother said I snored so loud that I woke me up. That's deep right there. But I'm going to have to go back and look at Brother Kish's class later. So if anybody got any questions about it, I can't answer them. Because apparently I was not coherent. But anyway, go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. And you shall keep the Feast of Weeks unto Yahweh your Elohim with a tribute of a freewill offering of your hand, which you shall give unto Yahweh your Elohim, according as Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you.
Right. We have these 3 times in a year where we ought to make an appearance. We have during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we have during the Feast of Weeks, and then we have during the Feast of Tabernacles. These 3 times that we must make an appearance unto Yahweh, and we must offer an offering unto Yahweh our Elohim according to how he has blessed you. You can't give unto Yahweh something that you wasn't given. So nobody can tell you what that is. That is between every man in his own heart. That is how that is supposed to be dealt with. Go ahead.
And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter, and your manservant and your maidservant, and the Levite that is within your gates, and the stranger.
And the stranger. This does not mean some dude who was floating down the street and you opened the door and said, hey, you, come on in here, because we don't need know you. No. The stranger is people that is not of your nation, but is amongst you, meaning they understand your culture. Because let me tell you something. You let strange people in that door while you trying to keep your holy days, and your holy days ain't going to be holy no more. Why you think I stopped people from bringing all their relatives up in here? We had a brother bring his mama in here, and it was one of the worst holy days we ever had, ever. We had to tell him, you and your mama, get the hell out of here. And she was already like 8'2". She can barely come in the door. And then insulting everybody she went past. How you gonna be 8'2" and insulting? No, don't bring nobody else in here that don't understand our culture. We're not just going and getting strangers. No, man, these are people that are not amongst your nation, but they understand your culture. Strangers will keep our culture better than we will. You tell a stranger, hey, look, you need to cover your head when you come in here. Man, we had Gentiles come in here for like a memorial and things like that. Man, they covered themselves, showed up covered. Talk to Jake. You got nothing but problem. Go ahead.
And the fatherless and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh Elohim hath chosen to place his name there.
That are among you. Understand, it was a mixed multitude that came out with them out of Egypt. All those people were not Israel. They were mixed multitude. Guess what? The mixed multitude still understood their culture. And the mixed multitude also was the one that caused them to start murmuring. But they understood what they were supposed to do. Why did you think they caused them to murmur? They could have just went on and did it. But they knew it was power in convincing Israel to do it. Why don't we do such and such? You got to learn that power of suggestion. Why don't we do this? Well, you heathen, go ahead and do it. Well, no, I don't want to do it by myself. Go ahead, brother.
And you shall remember that you was a bondman in Egypt, and you shall observe and do these statutes.
And that's why we supposed to be lenient toward the stranger. Don't you remember you was a stranger in Egypt?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, we don't remember that we strangers here. So it's amazing to me that people want to treat strangers a certain way. We're still strangers. And these people let us know every time we get ready to do something that we're strangers here. If you're not sure that you're a stranger here, go to the bank and ask to borrow some money. They're going to remind you, oh, you a stranger here. They need to see 10 more pieces of ID from you. They want that birth certificate when you were born, the one that got the baby foot on it. What? I ain't got that no more. No, we need to compare the foot. What? Obviously, my foot not gonna be the same size. Hey, look, no, that ain't the same foot. Yeah, that foot was 40 years ago. Read, man.
That was it, verse 12.
All right, where we at now? Let's go to Acts chapter 2.
Acts chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Yeah, first of all, we don't understand the joy and the beauty in that. All accord in one place. You know what keeps us from being all on one accord in one place? Because everybody got a doctrine of their own. Because we going to read together. But then we got some people who like to go, late night internet surfing, right? So they get on the internet at 2 a.m. and see what kind of flooring filth they can find. And they find some foul doctrine. And whether they know it or not, it starts sitting up in there and starts turning. Now when it's time to be on one accord, we can't fully be on one accord because they got another program running in the back of their head. When we get ready to turn right, they hesitant. They're hesitant to turn right. You ever been driving somewhere and all of y'all following one another? But somebody believe they know a better way. This is why we would put, when we were going in groups, we'd put the hazards on so everybody see the hazards. So you can all follow, right? But then one person in the middle. If we go down Highway 14, we'll get there much faster. Now watch what this do to the group. You got everybody going. Now here come this genius in the middle. And he got on his hazards like he's following, right? So then he turned off. And now you watch the other one. now see Hazel's going to the left and Hazel's going to the right. And they sitting there. And then you got a whole line of people. And they all just sitting there. They're trying to figure out what to do. That one person's grandiose idea has now splintered the entire group. One grandiose idea. Go ahead, bro.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them.
Now what happens, people don't really see the glory that was handed out during the day of Pentecost. This is why the Christians want to keep this day, okay? Because this is the pouring out of the Spirit, and there's a spiritual gift given on this day, and they can pinpoint that a spiritual gift was given out on this day. But they don't really understand the spiritual gift that was given out. Hebrews don't even understand the magnitude of this gift. Go ahead.
And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak with other tongues,
Other languages.
as the Spirit gave them utterance.
Uh-huh.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Yehudis, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
Stop. We had just watched a video where some so-called Cariite Jews were talking about how they have always been in the land. They have always been. This word constantly goes against what they're saying. It was Jews who dwelled in every nation under heaven. They claim the Jews have always been in the same place. They always been right there in Jerusalem. You are lying. The truth ain't in you. A bunch of Philistinians is what they is. Go ahead, bro.
Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together, and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
Now, this is the thing about this gift of speaking in tongues, because you know we're gonna have to look at something here. It wasn't just that let's say Eliel speaks Hebrew, but you know Kish speaks French. If I have the gift of speaking in tongues, it's not just a situation where I'm able to speak Hebrew because Eliel speaks it. No, this gift was on a whole nother level. They both heard in their own languages what was said by me. No, this is deeper than anything else that we've seen. Keep going.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own language wherein we were born?
Right. Not according to the ethnicity that they are, according to the language where they were born and the language that they learned. That is how they hear. Keep reading.
Parthians and Medes and Elamites.
Medes is Russians. Go ahead.
And the dwellers of Mesopotamia and in Judea, Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia.
Right, and you tell that Cariite liar that this shows that the children of Israel have been spread all about. So if you're going to tell me that the Jews always been in one place, you a lie. And just because somebody sound like they know what they talking about don't mean they know what they talking about. I don't care how articulate they sound. Go ahead.
You know, just Asia alone. You know how many different tongues are spoken in Asia alone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, buddy. There's a lot.
Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt and in parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Yehudis and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do speak in our own languages the wonderful works of Elohim.
In our own languages. Now we're going to have to back up because I want y'all to pay attention to something. Read verse 3 again. Because they're not just hearing that language. So, because you know, you got some Hebrews say, unless you speak Hebrew, my brother, you really not teaching at all. You understand? Yeah. Read verse 3.
And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire.
Stop. Cloven tongue. Do you understand what cloven means? It means divided. Wait a minute. That's what Lucifer had. We call that fork tongue. Wait a minute. Lucifer had some power. Maybe that's why he was able to get the woman always on his side, because he had this cloven tongue where he can say 4 or 5 different things at the same time. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. So they're not only speaking one language, the way in which they are speaking because of the cloven tongue gives them the ability to speak in all languages at the same time. Oh, that's just a tad bit frightening. That's just a bit frightening. See, there's certain things that we've attributed unto Lucifer, and we say, this must be evil. Wait a minute, this was part of the gift. Understand now, Lucifer was a chosen angel until he decided to do his own thing. He decided to use the power of Elohim for his own gain. So this cloven tongue like as a fire is an awesome gift. So that stuff we be seeing on TV when they do all that goo gobbledygoo and nobody understands what that is they're saying, that don't fit what's written here. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Others mocking said, verse 12, pardon me. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, what meaneth this? Others mocking said, these men are full of new wine.
Always know that there are haters everywhere you go. Anywhere you go, there are going to be some haters. As soon as they don't understand it, they're going to have to put it down. That's the only thing they know how to do. Haters don't really know how to do anything else. They know, I don't understand that. I hate it. You're all drunk. Bro, it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, they're 10 o'clock drunk.
What? Go ahead.
But Cephas, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, you men of Judea, and all you that dwell at Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these are not drunken, as you suppose, seeing it is but the 3rd hour of the day.
But you see, their accusation didn't even have to make sense. It's like, bro, so you think this many people drunk at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning? Because if he said 3rd hour of the day, they count those hours from sunrise. But bro, you tripping? You think 9 o'clock in the morning, this many people drunk? Now we know we always had some people that you see them 9 o'clock, they had a, you know what I'm saying, Coke 45. You know what I'm saying? We all know that one dude. You know, he like, good morning. Bruh, did you have that with your cornflakes? But to see like a bunch of them, no. Go ahead.
But here's the problem. If drunkenness gives you the ability to speak another language, then I need to get drunk more often.
Well, I mean, drunkenness does allow you to speak another language. The only problem is don't nobody understand but you. You start loving everybody, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh man, this dude is. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 16. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, says Elohim, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
Right. So this spirit is allowing them to do these things. Yet you have Hebrews that tell you, you know, you need to study so that you can speak this language. Yeah, but if I get the gift of Elohim, I'm going to be able to speak in all of them. Your study only allows you to speak one. If I get this gift, I speak to every Hebrew under the sun anytime I want. Let me see you go study all those. We might have one brother that speaks Mandarin. You spend all your damn time learning Mandarin if you want to. I'm going to wait for the gift. Go ahead.
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I'll pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I'll show wonders in heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood.
He's repeating the things that were prophesied by the prophet Yoel. So if somebody then wants to say, well, we don't have to deal with the things of the Old Testament. Wait a minute. He's now saying the things that were in the Old Testament. They are now written in the New Testament. And he's saying this is what they were talking about. Yet the rest of this stuff still hadn't happened yet. See, even those who lie about the word and they say that they believe in the New Testament, the New Testament don't even back up their doctrine. Go ahead.
The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Adonai come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahshua shall be saved.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is why people believe that you got to consider how many erroneous Christian doctrines come out of this passage. So they first of all have the false speaking in tongues, the goo gobbledygoo. They even got classes over there in East Point where you can learn how to speak in tongues. Yeah, it's a gift of the Spirit, but apparently they got the Spirit tied up in that back room back there, and they let him out to teach the classes. Right. Here go another erroneous Christian doctrine, verse 21. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Adonai shall be saved. This is why they believe that they can do hell all day life. And right before they die, Jesus. They just got to have just enough air. To call on Jesus. And they've spent the entire life doing absolute nothing but hell. Lies, deception, everything. But they have taken this out of context. And they just, because they keep at least a Jesus in the bag, just in case. If they look like they finna die, they be like, oh, okay, I thought I was about to die. I thought I was about to die. I'm about to whip it out. Go ahead, brother. Let's where we going, man? Let's go to Yoel, chapter 2, so we can see where they got that from. Yeah, boy, they keep one right in the bag. Hey, if you see one and it look like they about to die, you can see them right there. Oh, okay. I thought I was about to go away from here. Okay. Joel chapter 2, and we're going to read that verse 1 through 18.
Verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh comes, for it is near at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There has not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness.
Right. They are causing so much destruction that it looks like the Garden of Eden before they get there, and it looks like a desolate wilderness after they go through it. Go ahead.
Yes, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as a horseman, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness.
Right. When you start talking about military warfare, and what the soot of constant burning is going to provide, you're then talking about all faces. You ever seen that? Those places where the whole town done burnt. Hey man, all them people look different when they come out of that. Go ahead.
They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another.
Right. These people are in the process of putting together their world army. See, this is why they have joint operations where they all get together and they do their exercises of warfare with one another. Yeah, they have a United Nations force gathered together out of all nations. Go ahead.
They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Right. They got so many that they can die and it won't do nothing. You kill 10 of them and 10 more show up. You're like, what? Is this even working? Go ahead.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice.
This is Yahweh's army at Armageddon. Go ahead.
And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?
Right. The adversary swings first. Yahweh let the adversary swing first. Your turn. Go ahead. See, my turn after yours. You go ahead. See, that's what you do when you believe you got the upper hand. You know, when you know you got the upper hand. You know, they have the sports teams. They come and meet out in the front, and they flip the coin. And whoever win the coin, you don't necessarily get the ball first. You get to choose. But when they think they got the upper hand, they win the toss. So how'd you want the ball first? Let him get the ball first. We know we gonna score when we get it. What they gonna do? Know what we gonna do. I gotta trust them what we got. Let them go. Cause we want the ball on the next one. You know, cause after we done beat up on you a little bit, we gonna beat up on you some more. Yeah, no, you go first. Your turn. You've been working on this for a long time. Let me see what you got. Go ahead.
Joel chapter 2 and verse 12. Therefore also now, says Yahweh, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning.
This is what Yahweh requires. Turn unto me with all your heart. Yahweh knows what all our heart is. And when we fake at dealing with it, all we do is prolong our issues. We prolong our issues and then blame everybody else that we encounter. After we the ones that prolong the issue. Because you know you didn't do it with your whole heart. Go ahead.
And rend your heart and not your garments, and turn unto Yahweh your Elohim. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repents him of the evil. Who knows if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Yahweh your Elohim. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation.
Sanctify the congregation. Wait a minute now. If we're going to sanctify something, we're going to make sure that this thing is sitting in holiness and righteousness. We sanctified this. We're going to separate it from things that may cause issues and problems. Go ahead.
Assemble the elders, gather the children and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say,
now this is going to cause an issue. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, which means that Yahweh is going to allow things to happen to his ministers, those priests, or let them see some things that activate their hearts and cause them to weep. And that encourages Yahweh to move. Go ahead.
Spare your people, O Yahweh, and give not your heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where's their Elohim?
Right. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh weep. You think ain't nobody else weeping? But Yahweh, his ear starts with his servants first. Go ahead.
Then will Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people.
Then will Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people. Because he's waiting for the priest to weep between the porch and the altar. That's what he's waiting for. He said, I don't do nothing unless I tell my servants, the prophets first. So when they come down to move, I want to hear what they got to say. Because they are the ones that have been made to bear the reproach of those that hate me. Did you finish that, bro?
Yes, verse 18.
You know what? I want to jump off script right here. I want to go into Joel chapter 3, because you know, the graphic, just stay right there. Go to Joel chapter 3 and start that at verse 1.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Yehuda and Jerusalem,
Bring again mean cause to cease. Go ahead.
I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land.
It says they have scattered. It says the Gentiles have scattered Israel amongst the nation. Yet we got them fake carry-out Jews saying that Israel has always been in Jerusalem. And I don't care how confident they sound. You got to know that the book don't back up any of that. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Stop. They tell you that your problem is going into Deuteronomy 28. Okay, well, let's just leave Deuteronomy 28 alone. Let's talk about Prophet Joel. Let's have a discussion here. Okay, he says that they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine. When we looked at even their little thing, the book of the Negroes, they were selling us for cognac. And cognac is an amazing drink. But but I don't think no people ought to be, you know what I'm saying, sold for it. It's not that amazing. So have them show you that in their history. We can show it to you in ours. They keep saying that Deuteronomy 28, that we looking at it wrong. And for some reason, people don't know that there's other scriptures to go to other than Deuteronomy 28. Okay, show me where they sold your people as boys and girls. Don't give me none of this stuff about the gas chamber and stuff like that, because you tried to take them people's economy and rule over it, and they got pissed off at you. I don't want to hear none of that. Give me this right here, because this is what we say we believe in. You know, we say we believe in this book, right? So let's leave Deuteronomy 28. Let's just put that on the side for a minute. Go ahead.
You know, even in verse 3 here, the first thing it says is they have cast lots for my people. That's the auction block. That's the auction prices that they're giving out.
Exactly. Show me where that happened to them. Then what? Because they can't present it, they then play the sympathy card, saying we've gone through so much. The Jews have been persecuted all over the world. Yes, we have, but they ain't got a damn thing to do with you. Ain't got a damn thing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? You buy your ticket and sit down and watch the show, but this ain't got a damn thing to do with you. They said, we speak Hebrew. You do not. No, I don't. Because when I get that gift for the cloven tongue, I'm going to speak all of them. Now run, go tell that. Put that in your too small kufi. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because you have taken my silver and my gold,
Uh-huh.
and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Uh-huh.
The children also of Yehuda and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians.
Wait a minute. It says the children of Yehuda and the children of Jerusalem have been sold unto the Grecians. Now, when did white people sell other white people? What day was that? I do not recall. But here, it says the children of Israel were sold to the Grecians. Those are Gentiles. Who was on the auction blocks buying? Right. Keep reading.
That you might remove them far from their border.
Far from their border. This is a long place. What they claim? The Jews have always been in this land. You're a lie. The prophets say you lying. Moshe say you lying. Yahshua say you lying. Go ahead.
Behold, I will raise them out. I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them.
That's what's starting to frighten these people. That's why you're not just going up and find us on the internet. You got to look under some internet boxes to find our site. You got to do 3 full searches. See, the powers that be are hiding all of those things, because I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them. Go ahead.
And will return your recompense upon your own head.
Right. This is what they're worried about. Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Yehuda.
Uh-huh.
And they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahweh hath spoken it.
Right. It ended up going through the Africans, and it's going to end up going back through the Africans again. Go ahead.
Proclaim you this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Now, understand something. It is impossible for the Jewish to make war with the Gentiles because they are in cahoots with one another. They are Gentiles anyway, but they have been placed in power by the Gentiles. So why would they fight the Gentiles? America and Great Britain put those people in there in 1948 and told them that they were the people of Israel. Now, why would they turn around and fight those people? Every bit of war equipment that Israel gets, they get from America and Great Britain. They have a contract that whenever something appears in the Middle East, if somebody say they got a multi-missile launcher, Israel say, ooh, they got one. America, y'all got to give us one too. That agreement that they have to have the best stuff in that area. So if somebody else get a nuclear weapon, guess what? America got to give Israel one. And let me tell you something. Netanyahu is he gangster. He'll shoot that nuclear weapon. He'll shoot it just so he can flex a muscle. But we got to give it to him because an agreement. Yet the same people want to claim that they're trodden down. Man, you got war capabilities. How are you being trodden down? Every time I turn on the news, the people who beaten is Israel, and the people who getting beaten is somebody else. I don't ever see you getting beat. I see you doing the beating. I don't see you loving the strangers that come upon Israel. I see you doing wrong to all those people who come among Israel, racially profiling them, forcefully sterilizing them. So while people want to proclaim how much they know the language, when you look at this word, they're doing everything against it. Let's go to 2 Chronicles, chapter 1. Sometimes you have to, deal with some things, because if there were not situations where people showed that certain of those things were incorrect, you have to wonder how many of our people will walk away believing the things that they heard because the person sound articulate who presented those lies. 2 Chronicles chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 7 through 13.
Verse 7. In that night did Elohim appear unto Shlomo, and said unto him, Ask what I shall give you. And Shlomo said unto Elohim, You have showed great mercy unto Dawid my father, and has made me to reign in his stead. Now, O Yahweh Elohim, let your promise unto Dawid my father be established. For you have made me king over a people like the dust of the earth in multitude. Give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this your people that is so great? And Elohim said to Shlomo, Because this was in your heart.
Understand something. If the right thing is in your heart, you not only get your petition from Yahweh, but you get things that you didn't even ask for. And Elohim said to Shlomo, because this was in your heart. Go ahead.
And you have not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of your enemies, neither yet have asked long age.
Now, these are probably things that we have, not only would we have asked for, but Yahweh also would see this is probably the thing that fleshly men would ask for. Give me riches, wealth, honor, the life of my enemies, and long life. He bypassed all those things. Go ahead.
But have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may judge my people.
Now, he asked for wisdom and knowledge, not even to consume it upon his own lust. The wisdom and knowledge was so that he could rule Israel correctly. At this point, his heart is in the right place. He's asking for the right things. Go ahead.
Over whom I have made you king. Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto you, and I'll give you riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before you. Neither shall there any after you have the like.
Right. So, in other words, because he asked for something with the right heart, Yahweh not only gave him what he asked for, he gave him stuff he didn't ask for too. Now, he could have asked for that stuff and got exactly that stuff. Give me riches and honor given to you. Give me the life of my enemies, life of your enemies given to you. But give me wisdom and understanding that I may truly lead your people. Oh, I'm going to give you that and all this other stuff. Go ahead.
Then Shlomo came from his journey to the high place that was at Gibeon to Jerusalem, from before the tabernacle of the congregation, and reigned over Israel.
Right. And if we look at those things, we see that things were going good with Shlomo for quite a while. And you have to wonder how much knowledge eventually caused him a situation. Because when you get right down to it, what caused us a problem in the garden? When we got this so-called knowledge. You have to wonder, how deep did this knowledge go? Did he begin to know that he could do certain things? And then his knowing that he could do certain things pushed him to a point where he did some things. Because see, Yahweh knows that one thing will lead to another thing, which will lead to another thing. So Yahweh will try to stop you right here. But when you got knowledge, you say, no, I can do that. Yeah, you can jump over that fence and do that. The problem is, what's going to happen after you do that? Then you're going to do this over here. And then you're going to fall into that lake. So why don't you just stop right here? But see, knowledge said, no. I can jump this fence. Yes, you can. But you might have some serious issues once you get over. Go ahead.
You know, and even with the seeking of knowledge, which he first started out humbly to be able to guide his people, you gotta wonder what happens when admiration comes because of the knowledge that you have, and it's coming from everywhere, which most of the people that we see, that we run into, that's getting this knowledge, that's what they're looking for, admiration. Oh, you know something that Priest Esaac don't know. You know something that Elder Yaakov didn't know. Oh, you're some great one. And then it ends up getting you in trouble.
Yeah, man, people would bring up something to my elder like that, and the elder be like, man, I forgot that 12 years ago. And they swear they be doing something. He's like, yeah, but see, what you don't know is what that's going to bring to you after you start dealing with it. He said, go ahead. Yeah, I watched some dad look just like you. Let's go to our 2 Chronicles 33, and we're going to start that at verse 1. Brother, what that air on over there, man? You know, it get colder. It feels a little funny in here. So I know what it probably doing over there. When I see one of them sisters come over here with a bomber jacket, I kind of know that, you know what I'm saying, it's probably a little too cold over there.
Second Chronicles chapter 33 and verse 1. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem, but did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom Yahweh had cast out before the children of Israel. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down, and he reared up altars for Baalim, and made groves, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served them.
So you have to look at some of these things and you know, try to see if you can figure out like how did they get this far off? You know, like, you know, your father pulled all of these things down, but then here comes a son when it's his time, and now he sets up all the evil that had been removed. What had gotten into him that he had a serious liking for the things that he was not supposed to deal with? Go ahead.
Also he built altars in the house of Yahweh, whereof Yahweh had said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the hosts of heaven in the two courts of the house of Yahweh.
So he put altars for other gods in Yahweh's house. Same thing we do today. We say we're going to serve Yahweh our Elohim, but then we come in and we throw another doctrine on the floor. See? We'll pull a brother or sister aside and throw out this other doctrine. Right. Here it is. We got an altar of Yahweh here, but we're going to throw out some other doctrine that's going to lead us off into something else right in the house of Yahweh our Elohim. We do the same thing. Go ahead.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times, and used enchantments, and used witchcraft, and dealt with a familiar spirit, and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger.
So he did a lot of stuff here. Okay? He did a lot. And understand, he's in power. So when a person in power deals with all of this wickedness, he has encouraged all the other people to deal with it. King, you got a personal wizard? Oh, I need to get me one of these. He got him a person. He got him a little. He got his own Merlin. You know, he just go there and just ask him. Cause ain't no, what's the use of asking Yahweh when you have your wizard? You need me dealing with Yahweh? I'm gonna ask my personal wizard. Look here. Tell me the future. Oh, great wizard. Oh, master of enchantments. Right. I want to hear that from Yahweh. Go ahead.
And he set a carved image, the idol of which he had made, in the house of Elohim, of which Elohim had said to David and to Shlomo his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever.
So he took a carving and put it in the very place where Yahweh, our name, is supposed to be magnified. Do we consider that when we grab idols and put them in our houses, the house that we're supposed to glorify for Yahweh, our Elohim? We tell people that we Israel, and then we hang up the image of an idol in that very house. And then people walk right in that door and be like, so let me get this straight. You're an Israelite, right? That's interesting. That's all you're going to hear. But they now questioning everything about you and your walk. Because you said you were a servant of Yahweh, our Elohim, and they trying to figure out, so why is that image right there? I remember, my brother had recognized my voice on the phone and said, man, I know that voice. You teach, don't you? I said, yeah. Brother gave me directions to get to his house. Told him, all right, I'm outside the house. I'm finna go in and, work on the thing. He said, yeah, my family there. But wait a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for this image that you about to see. There's a Christmas tree right there in the front door. But, hey, his wife wasn't in the word. He was, beginning in the word. I don't know how long he had been in the word, but that was one of those things. That's a big fight when you come in the word about that Christmas tree. Oh, I got some Ali Rumble in the Jungle kind of things about that Christmas tree. I think I might be able to show you a few scars from it. That Christmas tree done caused a lot of hell, boy. A lot of hell. So I ain't gonna trip on no brother. He tell me, look, man, I ain't been able to get that Christmas tree down. Hey, no judgment here. No judgment here. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Neither will I any more remove the foot of Israel from out of the land which I have appointed for your fathers.
But you got to work on it, and at some point it got to come out of there. That excuse ain't gonna last forever. Well, that's my woman, and I want to have peace with her. Let me tell you something, man. Whatever it is I got to lose, man, to serve Yahweh, my Elohim, then, man, get the hell on. Let's go ahead and get this walk, and let's let it do what it got to do. Do I want peace? Yeah, I want peace. But if I don't do what Yahweh, my Elohim, want me to do, it's going to be a piece of my tail hanging all over every piece of Camel Road. Go ahead, bro.
So that they will take heed to do all that I have commanded them, according to the whole law and the statutes and the ordinances by the hand of Moshe. So Manasseh made Yehudah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err, and to do worse than the heathen, whom Yahweh had destroyed before the children of Israel.
Worse than the heathen. Check that out. That's Israel for you. Worse than the heathen. With knowledge and understanding, we do worse than the heathen. He said, if I had gone to the heathens, they would have heard me. They would have repented. Not us. Too much pride and stubbornness. Go ahead.
But even back then till now, when we get off into the acts of the heathen, we do it 10 times more stronger than they do it, as if we got to prove to them that I know what this is about.
Hey, bro, anytime somebody doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing, they do it hard. You see how a woman moves? And she's graceful, right? She has her feminine ways. Watch a man trying to be a woman. I know damn woman move like that. Read, man.
And Yahweh spake to Manasseh and to his people, but they would not hearken. Wherefore Yahweh brought upon them the captains of the host of the king of Assyria, which took Manasseh among the thorns, and bound him with fetters, and carried him to Babylon. And when he was in affliction, he besought Yahweh his Elohim, and humbled himself greatly before the Elohim of his fathers.
Now, he humbling himself, but do understand, now he ain't innocent. He done did all manner of hell. Okay? But he don't try to act like he ain't done it. See, this is where we fall to act. See? We try to act like, you can list the hell that he has done. He done this hell with knowledge. He was not like he was tricked into doing this. He knew exactly. Those things had been already pulled down. He rebuilt them. Okay? Then you have to look at this situation a couple of ways. Okay, did he repent just because he ended up in chains and feathers? Some of us, you put us in chains, we still stubborn enough. You take everything we got, we still stubborn. I will not admit defeat. And we'll ride it on out to our death. And then we act just like everybody else. But soon as we get, on that deathbed, we're going to do the same thing they going to do. I'm sorry, that didn't work for them and it ain't going to work for you either. And need calling out Yahshua when your last breath comes. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And prayed unto him, and he was entreated of him, and heard his supplication, and brought him again to Jerusalem into his kingdom. Then Manasseh knew that Yahweh, he was Elohim.
Then he knew that Yahweh was Elohim. See? Same thing we read about dealing with Samuel. It says Samuel did not yet know Yahweh. Then when some things happened, oh, he knew Yahweh. Interesting. That people can be around the word and still not in it. Go ahead, brother, did you finish that?
Now after this he built a wall without the city of David, on the west side of Gihon, in the valley, even to the entering in at the fish gate, and compassed about Ophel, and raised it up a very great height, and put captains of war in all the fenced cities of Yehudah. And he took away the strange gods and the idol out of the house of Yahweh.
See, he didn't just run off with his mouth saying, I'm sorry, my bad. No, he fixing that stuff. He fixing the stuff that he did. I built it, I'm going to take it down. Go ahead.
And all the altars that he had built in the mount of the house of Yahweh.
Right. He didn't try to act like he didn't do it. That's our way of getting past something. Go ahead.
And in Jerusalem, and cast them out of the city. And he repaired the altar of Yahweh.
Now, think about how confusing this is to the folk. And he throwing them out of there. Hey, wait a minute, how you going to throw me out? I was your wizard. I done prophesied to you about all this stuff. I told you were going to come against me too. Good. Did you tell me that I was going to kick you out? Because you got to get the hell out of here. Go ahead.
And sacrificed thereon peace offerings and thank offerings, and commanded Yehudah to serve Yahweh Elohim of Israel. Nevertheless, the people did sacrifice still in the high places.
Nevertheless, the people did sacrifice still in the high places. So they still have this little thing where they're going to mix the servitude of Yahweh with the worship of the other gods. See, so when you lead people somewhere, you have to consider that when you turn, it doesn't mean that they have the ability to turn at the same time you turn. Because he has led these people here. Go ahead.
Yet unto Yahweh their Elohim only. Now the rest of the acts of Manasseh, and his prayer unto his Elohim, and the words of the seers that spake to him in the name of the Adonai Yahweh of Israel, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel. His prayer also, and how Elohim was entreated of him, and all his sin, and his trespass, and the places wherein he built high places.
Understand, all that is going to be written in your book. That book that we want to, write for ourselves is the edited version. You know that version where we did everything right? See, we want our book to just start from a really good place in the word. Hallelujah. That's how we want our story to open. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. What's going on? This is the beginning of the story of such. No, that ain't how that story began. That ain't how that story began. You starting at year 18. Let's go on back to year 1 when the mess was going on. See, I already know my story not going to begin like that. That's how they dramatize the beginning of the story. See? So we have already dramatized the beginning of our story. I know how my opening going to be. That's how the beginning of my story start. See, some of y'all don't remember the beginning of your story. Read, man.
And set up groves and graven images before he was humbled. Behold, they are written among the sayings of the seers. So Manasseh slept with his fathers, and they buried him in his own house, and Amon his son reigned in his stead.
Right. So what you see is, for him to reap of the things of the spirit, he had to sow or plant something different. The things that he had planted before were deeds and things of wickedness. So what he reaped was some of that wickedness. He didn't change what he planted. If you don't like the fruit that you are surrounded by, stop whining to everybody else. Plant something different. Let's go to Luke chapter 15. can't plant no apple tree and then just sit there and cry over the damn apple tree thinking it's going to turn into a peach tree. Now you got to go back and get you some seeds and plant something else. I don't care how much you cry over that apple tree, it's going to still be an apple. Because that's what you put in the earth. No amount of tears is going to turn the seed into a different seed. When it came time for Manasseh to repent, he put some other seeds in the earth. He didn't just sit there and cry over what he had done. He planted something else. Luke chapter 15, let's read verses 11 through 23.
And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want.
See, this is, first of all, a real easy thing to see. When you're young and you get money, you think the money ain't never gonna stop. Man, I remember being young and came into some thousands. Man, I spent that money so fast. After I had done spent all that money, I was like, somebody robbed me. Because I couldn't figure out where the hell all my money went. And when you're young, you don't write nothing down. You know what I'm saying? You don't jot nothing down because you think, no, man, I got superior intellect. So I got it all up in here until it's gone. Now you look at, I know I had some money around here somewhere. No, you didn't. You spent that. Them little bitty short purchases or whatever. Man, you'd be amazed how fast those short purchases add up to be hundreds and then thousands of dollars. And before you know it, that robust account now got those funny numbers in it. He said, wasn't that period in another place? Last time I looked in, they got the period in the wrong place. No, they don't. You spent that money. Okay? Go ahead.
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine.
Now this is a far cry from somebody who has received their inheritance. They done got a lump sum of money, and now they feeding pigs. This is what happened when you burn up that Lucci. When they said make it rain, hey boy, he made it rain everywhere he went until it actually started raining. Go ahead.
And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat.
You got to be really down low, man, if you're going to eat the stuff. The stuff that the swine eat is the leftover stuff. It's at a husk. So, when we eat the apple, and then it's that leftover part that we don't eat, that's what you give for the pig. If you're going to eat the part of the apple that Kish left over, you're in a bad situation. Go ahead.
And no man gave on to him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?
If you look at the subheading, verse 17 says, and when he came to himself, right above that says the repentance. He comes to himself, now he realizes he's in error. Now, some of us, this has to happen to us. The only way we realize that we're in error is when we lose everything. I keep trying to tell people, if you could realize your error before you lose everything, you might be able to keep some of that stuff. But some of us, it just ain't in us. We're just too damn tough. We cannot be reached until we are at rock bottom. So that means he has no choice but to take everything you have. Take everything that you are accustomed to, just so he can get you to the point of repentance. Now he comes to himself. Go ahead.
I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you.
But at least now he has the right way. Now he's going to humble himself and go to his father. All right? Because at this point, now he need a job. Okay? I will arise to go unto my father, and I will say unto him, I have sinned against heaven and before you. Go ahead.
And am no more worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired servants.
Make me as one of your hired servants. I will humble myself and be your servant. Not go in there talking about, hey, look, I'm the son. I'm part. Look here. I'm part of this. All y'all need to step out. You understand? Cause I'm a son up in here. No, he came back with humbleness. Those are the two things that go hand in hand: repentance and humbling. You can't repent while coming back proud and running off at the mouth. Go ahead.
And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
He saw him afar off. Now, and I remember my brother Kish saying, about this same situation. When the father ran up and kissed him because he was happy to see him, did that take away the son's necessity to still humble himself? Because some people would see that and then not humble themselves. And that is not the case. Go ahead. Is that the...
Yeah, verse 20.
Keep going to 23 to 22.
And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and am no more worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet.
Now, because he has still humbled himself, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight am no worthy to be called your son. But he humbled himself. This is the same thought process he had before the father ran up and hugged him and kissed him. Now, some would have saw that action and see, you know what amount of people you got. See, you know, everybody know who they got in their house. See, you know that there's some that if they even make an attempt to repent, you know you can run up to them and hug them, and they gonna finish the action. There's others that you say, oh no, I know this boy right here. That boy that's cut from the same cloth I was. Wait a minute. Just sit right here. Let's watch this. Let's let it play out. I know this one here. No, this one just like me for. I know. Watch this now. Watch this. Sit down. Don't jump just yet. Right. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 34. But we have to look at what does it say in 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 31. It says that if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. So we have an opportunity to escape all of that judgment if we deal with it. When we just decide we're going to be tough cookies and let Yahweh deal with it, I guarantee you it ain't never going to turn out good. You can cry all over the covenants and promises all you want. 2 Chronicles chapter 34, and let's start that at verse 14.
And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of Yahweh, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of Yahweh given by Moshe. And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of Yahweh. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan carried the book to the king, and brought the king word back again, saying, all that was committed to your servants, they do it.
Now, all of this is being done under Josiah, who began reign, if you go back to verse 1, was 8 years old when he began to reign. So all of these things he's gradually making right. Go ahead.
And they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of Yahweh, and have delivered it into the hand of the overseers, and to the hand of the workmen. Then Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest has given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the law, that he rent his clothes.
When the king heard the words of the law, because he heard the things that he was supposed to be doing. He heard the things that the children of Israel was supposed to be about. Just hearing it made him tear up his own clothing. Go ahead.
And the king commanded Hilkiah and Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Abdon, the son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Isaiah, a servant of the king's, saying, Go inquire of Yahweh for me, and for them that are left in Israel and in Yehudah, concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the anger of Yahweh that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of Yahweh, to do after all that is written in this book.
Right. And if the fathers don't do it, the sons are not going to do it either. So a father walking in the word at least gives an opportunity to encourage the son to walk in the word. But if the father don't walk in nothing, the kid's going to look and see you ain't walking in nothing, and they ain't going to walk in nothing either. Go ahead.
And Hilkiah and they that the king had appointed went to Huldah, the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tikvath, the son of Hasrah, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they spake to her to that effect. And she answered them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Tell you the man that sent you to me. Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the curses that are written in the book which they have read before the king of Yehudah.
And there's probably a whole group of brothers that have a problem. And why are you gonna read about a prophetess? We don't even, you know what? I'm gonna change websites right now. Go ahead.
Because they have forsaken me and have burnt incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands. Therefore my anger shall be poured out upon this place, and shall not be quenched. And as for the king of Yehudah, who sent you to inquire of Yahweh, so shall you say unto him.
So shall you say unto him, because he sent you, Yahweh saw his actions. Go ahead.
Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, concerning the words which you have read. Because your heart was tender, and you did humble yourself before Elohim, when you heard his words against this place, and against the inhabitants thereof, and humbleth yourself before me.
Because you humbleth yourself before me, you are now planting something else. Now this allows you to begin reaping of the spirit, because you sowed not to the flesh. Go ahead.
And did rend your clothes, and weep before me. I have even heard you also, says Yahweh. Behold, I will gather you to your fathers, and you shall be gathered to your grave in peace. Neither shall your eyes see all the evil that I will bring upon this place, and upon the inhabitants of the same. So they brought the king word again.
So I ain't going to let you see. You're not even going to be vexed with the sight of your eyes. I'm not going to let it happen in any of your days, because you have humbled yourself unto me. Go ahead.
Then the king sent and gathered together all the elders of Yehudah and Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of Yahweh, and all the men of Yehudah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the priests, and the Levites, and all the people, great and small. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant that was found in the house of Yah.
Okay, stop. Y'all know how long they had to take? They had to be meeting for days. Go ahead.
And you know what's interesting is that the king is reading out of the book, which is part of the order.
Right. King supposed to have his own copy. See? He was supposed to already have a copy. He wasn't supposed to be finding nothing. How you find what you supposed to already have? See, that what happen when your mama give you something, and then you find it, you can't tell your mama because you wasn't supposed to lose it nowhere. I had found the door key. What the hell you mean you found it when you lost it? Huh? Never mind. Go ahead.
Verse 31. And the king stood in his place and made a covenant before Yahweh to walk after Yahweh, and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant which are written in this book. And he caused all that were present in Jerusalem and Benjamin to stand to it. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem did according to the covenant of Elohim, the Elohim of their fathers. And Josiah took away all the abominations out of all the countries that were pertained to the children of Israel.
Right. He didn't just talk, that stuff that, was done was just old stuff. Let's just move on. No. Let's go fix this mess. Let's go fix this. Hey, get all these abominations. They got to get out of here. And see, sometimes that means we got to step on some toes that we put there. See, we help set up some of that. So then we got to go, hey, man, look, I know I helped you set up this place, man, and I really apologize. But it is come to light that the word of my Elohim says that this shall not be done in his land. So I'm going to need you and all your familiar spirit stuff and, all your enchantments. I'm going to need that to get up out of here. Now, because I realize I set this up. I'm going to give you an extra day to pack. You understand? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an extra day to pack. But I tell you what, if you're not out of here tomorrow, I'm going to tear your ass up. You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand what I'm saying? All right, now. All right, see you tomorrow. Hey, Yahweh going to tear us up if we don't take care of the business. But hey, you talk that man into bringing that up. And look at, man, I'm going to give you a little extra day. You get 24. I'm going to give you 24 extra. All right? But you better be the hell out of here. All your enchantments, take everything with you. Now, if you leave out of here in 24 hours, you get to live and set up some enchantment somewhere else. Yes, look at that. See, you get to worship the stars and stuff. But if I see you here tomorrow, you shall not worship a star ever again. Go ahead.
And made all that were present in Israel to serve, even to serve Yahweh their Elohim. And all his days they departed not from following Yahweh, the Elohim of their fathers.
Now you see, the people depart not from following Yahweh when they got somebody who will not allow them to worship. See, a lot of things we think that we're going to do on our own. And we haven't figured out that you're not going to do certain things on your own. Yahweh going to have to make you. See, that's the romanticism that we see our own story. See, we see our own story in this romantic light that like we're going to do this great thing. No. You're going to do it when Yahweh take away every other option. Then you're going to do what you're supposed to do. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
First Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints? Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? Now what the saints going to judge the world by? The law of Elohim. So if you don't know the law of Yahweh our Elohim, if you don't know the direction of Yahweh our Elohim, how you going to judge the world? Much less, how you even judge any situation that even happens in your house. We then just judge it by what we think, feel, and believe. And let me tell you something. If we judge it by feelings, you ain't never going to outfeel nobody. Because their feelings is more prevalent to them because it's their body. So if that's all we're going to do is judge by feelings, then we back in that Sunday morning game. Well, he who cries most wins. So we be competing on Sunday morning. So now we're trying to figure out who can cry to. Because, hey, that's where we come from. That don't mean nothing to Yahweh. Go ahead.
And if the world shall be judged by you, Are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Go ahead.
Know you not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
Okay, hold on. The saints shall judge the world, and the saints shall judge angels. Go ahead.
If then you have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church.
Understand, it says if you have matters that pertain to this life. That's some of them fleshly situations that y'all get in. Then you set those who are least esteemed in the church. All right, you should be able to deal with this little earthly thing. But when it comes down to spiritual things, you don't set some novice over a situation and they don't know nothing about the word. Do not get this out of context. Because people will say, yeah, we got a matter in the church, but we don't want to go to the priest because he's going to be speaking that law. We want to go to our friend James over here. James, tell us what says thou. And James is a spiritual toddler. Okay? He just pooped his pants in the lobby. And now you want to get spiritual direction from Poopy James. And you can't figure out why it didn't work out. Don't take this out of context. Go ahead.
I speak to your shame. Is it so that there's not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren?
Even consider the situation with Moshe. It says that some of that spirit was taken off him. It was put on the elders. He said, y'all judge the small matters. Then you bring the big matters to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring that. Don't keep bringing all that little stuff to me. Somebody got to be able to handle this little stuff. Don't come to me about everything. All right. So the spirit spread out. Put them on them 70 elders. All right. Y'all go take care of those small things. When a matter gets too difficult, come get me. Go ahead.
But brother goes to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers.
And when you go to law before unbelievers, we supposed to be Hebrews, and then we start slandering each other's name before the heathen. They're making sport out of us. When we got to go and sit in one of them courts and tell them people all our personal business, they making sport of us. Go ahead.
Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because you go to law one with another. Why do you not rather take wrong?
Right. That's something that, now, we'll give wrong. And we'll give wrong quite consistently. But when it comes time for us to take wrong, oh, we got problem. Oh, we can't take no wrong. Well, consider how much you've dished out. Go ahead.
Why do you not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? No, you do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim? Be not deceived. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Elohim. And such were some of you.
Such were some of you. Some of you were some of the very things that were listed. But, go ahead.
You are washed.
But you are washed. In other words, now, for you to be able to reap of the Spirit, you have begun sowing or planting something different. Go ahead.
But you are sanctified, but you are justified in the name of the Adonai Yahshua, and by the Spirit of our Elohim.
All right. Let's go to James chapter 4. See, now because we have the opportunity, or we now have begun to sow some other things in this life, we then have the opportunity to reap some other things. But do understand, sowing and reaping, which is planting and harvesting, do not happen overnight. This is why the book says, do not be weary in well-doing. Because we do well on Monday, And Wednesday, we ticked off. Well, I did good early in the week. I don't understand why good ain't happened yet. This don't make no damn sense. Are you serious right now? Who put a seed in the ground Monday and had a fruit on Wednesday? If so, you got some frankenfoods. That's a genetically modified seed. You should have been able to talk to that seed. I done put you in the ground. All right, put some more dirt over me. What the heck? There's something wrong with that damn seed. You ain't planting no seed that fast and it grew into something. James chapter 4, and let's start at verse 1.
From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts, that war in your members?
Right. Understand that each one of us is born with a altercation inside of us. We have the flesh that we are covered in, and we have the spirit, which is the belief of our Elohim inside of us. We then have the spirit that wars against the flesh, where the spirit may know to do one thing, but the flesh is trying to convince you to do something else. Your spirit says be strong. Your flesh said we should just be weak and cry right now. Your spirit says, you know what? We should be keeping Yahweh's holy days. Your flesh said, you can keep it right here in the living room. Your spirit says, you know, I should dress accordingly and wear something that will be becoming to my Elohim. Your flesh said, you should put that cat suit on and show your taint. Right. Which one gonna win? Go ahead.
Verse 2. You lust and have not. You kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you have not, because you ask not. You ask and receive not, because you ask amiss, that you may consume it upon your lust.
You ask and receive not because you ask amiss. Because there are times that we're going to go to Yahweh our Elohim, but we're going to leave certain things out. See, which already makes the prayer start to turn into an abomination. Because we're going to mention some things to Yahweh. See, but we ain't going to mention them things over there. And it starts to look like straight hypocrisy. Because Yahweh like, they do know I know everything, right? They do know I know the part that they not mentioning, right? So when they come to me and tell me the situation, they do know I know what happened before the situation became a situation. So then this prayer starts to be real strange to Yahweh. Go ahead.
You adulterers and adulteresses, know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Elohim? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Elohim.
Right. And we always trying to get in the good graces of other people who don't care at all about our Elohim. Go ahead.
Do you think that the scripture says in vain, the spirit that dwell in us lusteth to envy?
The spirit that is in us lusts to envy. Lust to envy against what? The spirit that dwells in us lusts to envy and cause all kind of issues. You got this inner fight that's going on. There's the mindset or the spirit of Yahweh, and then there's the mindset or the spirit of the flesh, and they fighting. They are fighting constantly at one another. Sometimes the spirit of Yahweh gonna win, and sometimes the spirit of that flesh gonna win. But if that spirit of that flesh win too much, you got a problem. Go ahead.
But he gives more grace. Wherefore he says, Elohim resists the proud, but gives grace unto the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to Elohim. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Right. If you resist the devil, he will flee from you. Not when you entertain him. He There's no reason to live. Let me tell you something. It says when somebody knock on your door, and it's somebody you don't want, if you open the door, hello, how you doing, with a smile, you know it's gonna take longer to get the people away from your door. Cause you know you're trying to be. Cause I remember I did that one time when I was young, and you know, saying them people, they come through your door. You know, they had their pamphlets and everything, and then they had their pamphlets, and then they had showed up at my door, and then my mom just had like she ain't hear the door. She just looking straight at TV. I like, Mama, it's somebody at the door. She like, I ain't answering that door. I was like, I'm gonna be a good son. I'm going to go to the door. I opened the door, and they pull out their pamphlet. My mom was like, well, you sit right there and talk to them. So they offered, they, you know, grab, you know, pass their little, you know, little stuff in, and I'm like, all right, I done a good deed. All right, y'all going on, you know, because I was nice to the people, you know, all right. I closed the door. My mom said, all right, congratulations. They opened the damn book and read it. I said, excuse me? She said, yeah, you took their damn pamphlet. You shouldn't have done that. You know you finna read every damn thing on it. I said, what? I was just being nice. She said, now be extra nice and read the damn stuff. And guess what? Because I opened that door. They came back. See, now I done invited the devil to my house a second time. See? But that second time, after I had to read their garbage, when they came back, they met a different child. They met a different child. When that door opened, it was, you know what I'm saying? I said it with my chest, you know? Right. But because I didn't resist the devil, he came back. When the devil came back that second time, I showed him some resistance. He stopped coming so frequently. Go ahead.
Jacob chapter 4 and verse 8. Draw near to Elohim, and he will draw near to you.
Right. And if you're going to draw near to Elohim, the two of those go hand in hand. I'm going to resist the devil, and I'm going to draw near to Elohim. So the more I draw near to Elohim, it's going to cause me to resist the devil. Go ahead.
Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be afflicted, and mourn, and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Adonai, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaks evil of his brother and judges his brother speaks evil of the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge.
Right. And there are people that Yahweh has said. Yahweh said judges in the congregation. He said judges of the people of Israel. Let those people do the job that they have been called to do. You don't try to do the job that you haven't been called to do. Somebody come up to me and they said, oh, South, I have an issue with my car. And I said, that is interesting. Why the hell are you telling me? I do not work on cars. There's several other brothers you need to talk to. I ain't the one. I may tell you a couple of things about a car, but that's about it. It's not what I do. You need to go talk to one of these other brothers. Go ahead.
There's one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who are you that judges another?
All right, let us hit a conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Luke chapter 6. Luke chapter 6. And we're going to read verses 20 through 36.
Verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be you poor, for yours is the kingdom of Elohim. Blessed are you that hunger now, for you shall be filled. Blessed are you that weep now, for you shall laugh.
In other words, they're putting in work now for a payment later. And that's something that somehow we understand naturally. We understand when we go to a job that you don't work on Monday and get paid on Monday. Somehow we understand that. But when it comes down to spiritual things, when it comes down to things of life, somehow we don't get that you don't work and get paid at the same time. Go ahead.
Some people need to do this company thing. Is in the company, you got, if you run the company versus company, you got a net 15 or you got a net 30. For those who don't understand, you do work and you got to wait 30 days to get paid.
Exactly.
That'll start conditioning your mind for the true payment of what we're looking forward to at the end of this journey.
Yes, brother. I've had to deal with that for a very, very long time, to the point where now having a regular gig, I get checks and it surprises me. Because I ain't used to getting checks that regularly. And when you ain't getting checks that regular, I don't care how much it is. You don't just jump out there. You learn how to coast down the street. They're like, why you ain't pedaling? Because I don't know if I'm going to have everything. So you coast as long as you can coast before you start pedaling. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 22. Blessed are you when men shall hate you and when they shall separate you from their company.
They separate from you. You don't separate from them, they separate from you. Go ahead.
And shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice you in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven.
Right. How many people can actually rejoice because they got haters? See, a lot of people don't rejoice. Look, they all hating on me. I was, man, that means you're doing something good. Go ahead.
For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for you shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you.
Pray for them which despitefully use you, for in doing so, you reap hot coals of fire upon their head. Go ahead.
And unto them that smite you on the one cheek offer also the other. And him that takes away your cloak forbid not to take your coat also. Give to every man that asks of you, and of him that takes away your goods, ask them not again. And as you would that men should do to you, do you also to them likewise.
And this is something that we have to truly consider. As you would have anyone do unto you, this is also what you ought to do unto other people. And the way Yahweh judges and deals with this in a righteous manner, he will never allow that to happen with the same individuals. See, if you are nasty to one person, Yahweh then lets a week or two pass, and out of nowhere, somebody then gonna come up and be nasty to you. It won't be the same person that you were nasty to, though. Because see, then you're gonna think that, oh, it's this person did it because I did it to them. No, this is how Yahweh shows you how you're supposed to deal with people. See? If you run up on somebody in an aggressive manner, you may look up and all of a sudden, somebody ran up on you in an aggressive manner. Why? To show you what it felt like when you ran up on this individual with an aggressive manner. This is how Yahweh encourages us. He ain't doing that to hurt us. He's doing this to encourage us to love your neighbor as yourself. So then when we get into a scary moment, we have completely forgotten how we frighten somebody else. Go ahead.
For if you love them which love you, what thank have you? For sinners also love those that love them. And if you do good to them which do good to you, what thank have you? For sinners also do even the same. And if you lend to them of whom you hope to receive, what thank have you? For sinners also lend to sinners, to receive as much again. But love you your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and you shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be you therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful.
Be you therefore merciful, as your Father is merciful. So if it's mercy that we want to obtain, then it's mercy that we should give. Because whatever that is that we plant, that is the thing that is going to grow. That is the thing that we're going to gather out of the earth. So we have to sow in it as many things of righteousness and of love as we can, so that when it's time for us to reap, we're not upset with the fruits that are being gathered unto us. That's all that we're going to do for today. Please remember that we are having our Feast of Weeks next week, which will be next Sabbath night at sundown. We know that Pentecost is always on a Sunday. This means that our sanctifying against the third day should be by that Thursday. All right. So I'm giving y'all some heads up now. Sanctify against the third day. All right. So this is something. So we should be sanctified that Thursday. All right. Then we got Friday. Then we got our Saturday. Then we come up in that Sunday night. So we know that sometime within that Thursday, we're going to get deeper into this on Wednesday at Bible study. All right. So understand, it's sanctified against the third day. You don't have to always be third days. It's sanctified for the third day. So that we're going to get into that Wednesday, but do understand. So just in case I forget, somebody remind me, because I don't want nobody calling me crying afterwards. So I'm reminding you to remind me that we going to go over that in Bible study. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.